Hi everyone, I hope you're doing great today. Okay, so I have a bunch of disturbing stuff to share with us today, and I'm really gonna beg each and every one of you watching me right now, whoever you are, if you ever come across kids or you love them as much as I do, I want you to do me a favor, draw your chair closer. And so before we proceed, I am going to do this thing that I hardly do, that I always forget to do. I'm going to plead with you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also click on the notification button so that whenever we upload a new video, you will be notified. You are all partners with me. We are all co-laborers in this thing. You were not in the studio making the video. I am making it. Your own job is to share the videos, to tell the world about this channel so that we can disseminate this truth to as many people as possible. So please make sure you subscribe, and may God bless you as you do that. Okay, so as I said earlier, this is one of the busiest times I've ever had in my life. Like, if I go by how busy I am now, I wouldn't even launch any video on YouTube for probably the next 5-6 months. I'm telling you, it's that serious. I'm extremely busy. That's why you haven't seen me launching videos other than my tour videos, which I've shared with a lot of people. But when I saw this image I'm about to share with us right now, something just broke in me. I said to myself, I don't care how busy I am. I don't care what I lose to make this video. I have to make this video. I have to get the world to see this evil that these guys are shoving down the throats of our children. Look on the screen. The image you see on the screen came out of a Disney video, a Disney series on Christmas. And I'm going to show you that video. Here is the video. These kids were made to file out holding different letters in their hands. And when they came out, you can see that they held the letters up, and what the letters formed was, I love you, Satan. In your face. This is Walt Disney that I have tried to expose several times, and people called me names. They say, Joe, you take everything extreme. These guys are just harmless. They're just entertaining our children. We can't deal with these kids when they come from school. What do you want us to do, Joe? Why are you such a fanatic? Leave Disney alone. It's a family channel. They're our people, Joe. I can tell you all the things I've heard people say to me, the many times that I've tried to expose Disney as the embassy of Lucifer here on earth, sent to get the minds of our children and either crush them or serve them as breakfast, lunch, or dinner to the devil. I have tried several times, but people are not paying attention. Look at, I love you, Satan. Now, I'm a filmmaker, a very good filmmaker. I didn't just start in Nollywood. I've studied in Hollywood, right? I'm a filmmaker. I know how movies are made. Like, you know your profession. I know how movies are made. You start with concept. You write a script. And when the script is done, people then come to act it. It's directed. So someone wrote the script of what you just saw. And when they got to that part, and they made sure that they put it, that the kids are going to hold the letters to form I love you, Satan. This is not a reality TV show. It is not something that happened unscripted. No, it's not. This is not some accident somewhere. Look at how long it took them to adjust and then say, I love you, Santa. In the media, if you know about advertising, 3 seconds, 4 seconds is almost like a lifetime. For about 5 to 6, if not 7 seconds, they were there still until the guy told them, and you correct yourself. And they corrected themselves and put, I love you, Santa. And now he gave a thumbs up. Yeah, now that's my name. But somebody wrote this. Why did they do it? Because of what I have told us several times. Subliminal messages. I told you, subliminal message is something that is below the threshold of consciousness. That is subliminal. I remember when I was exposing one of the movies that so many people have seen. It's called Lion King. And I have a video where I showed you that the Lion King fell on a cliff and the dust went up in the sky. And that dust, when you freeze it, you will see sex, sex. And I've exposed the one they did with Aladdin and all kinds of videos they've done. How they infuse these subliminal messages that your conscious man may not see immediately, but your subconscious is taking them in. And at a later date, your subconscious man will regurgitate and act on these things. The easiest way to pollute a man's mind or soul is by using subliminal messages. They do it on purpose. It is intentional. I Love You, Satan was a classic subliminal message. Immediately they did that. They allowed it enough time to be on the screen. Boom! It jumped into the subconscious of so many children, millions all over the world. If you save out of those who have seen that, you may not be able to save up to 30%. The rest have already begun to think in themselves, there's nothing wrong with me loving Satan. The kids are waking up every day. They watch almost all their cartoons are cartoons that depict the lifestyle of hellfire, the lifestyle that Satan himself promotes. Almost all the cartoons they watch. And so when the real Satan comes and you put I love you, Satan, it means the kids actually agree with it. Subconsciously they feel like, oh, but nothing is really wrong. If I can love God, why can't I love Satan? After all, they are two opposing forces. Yeah. I mean, we have been trained to accept negative and positive. Like, what's the big deal? We now have children who are being groomed to become transgenders as babies. We have children who are groomed to do mutual masturbation and have sex at a tender age, and also have sex with grown men. And we have a situation where you are told that we don't want to be calling pedophiles anymore. We call them minor attracted persons. We have situation where a hopeless fashion house is using BDSM themed dolls to promote their wear, and the world is keeping quiet. Balenciaga is expensive. It's a luxury brand. It came out recently. You saw the ad, didn't you see it? The ad. Balenciaga ad. With babies. Babies, literally babies, holding dolls that were dressed in BDSM gears. Have you watched my video on BDSM? BDSM is one of the most satanic of all the sexual forms. The one that I described as has been made in the pit of hell and unleashed on mankind to give maximum pleasure to Satan. BDSM, bondage, dominance, sadomasochism, a sexual act that involves bloodletting, that involves a lot of punishment, a lot of bizarre satanic positioning and activities is what they make children to portray. Balenciaga today has not been cancelled. They are still there issuing hopeless apologies. I want you to listen to what this brother rightly said about Balenciaga so you can get a clear picture of what Balenciaga had done and everywhere is quiet. No one is canceling them like they canceled Kanye West, who lost all his money almost overnight.
Balenciaga, ahead of a Paris fashion show last week, posted images from a new photo shoot with what appeared to be depressed, drugged out children holding bondage teddy and panda bears. Panda bears and panda eyes, again, are a code word for people that have been seriously tortured in dungeons. Look it up for yourself. And in part of the same shoot, they showed a purse on the desk, and under the purse were court filings, Ashcroft versus the Free Speech Coalition. And in that case, the Supreme Court ruled that you could produce synthetic child porn, that as long as actual children weren't raped, you could, under the First Amendment, depict children being raped, tortured, and even murdered.
The Supreme Court of the United States of America ruled that. So when you see people sometimes get very religious and say that America has got to see and taste and feel the punishment of God, there's a reason for that. It's my favorite country in the world. It's my second home. I love the U.S. like I love anything. But you see what the U.S. has done. The same children that God said, allow these ones to come to me. American justice system has permitted for people to produce synthetic porn that depicts children indulging in sexual intercourse, that depict even adults having sex with children, that depict even the murder of children. This has been allowed by the court. And how did it happen? I want you to follow me. I just want to read you a few things. I don't want to leave you hanging anywhere. What is the background of Ashcroft versus free speech? I want to read it for you. Pay attention. Ashcroft versus Free Speech Coalition 535 U.S. 234 2002 is a U.S. Supreme Court case which struck down two overbroad provisions of the Child Pornography Prevention Act of 1996 because they abridged the freedom to engage in a substantial amount of lawful speech. The case was brought against the government by the Free Speech Coalition, a California trade association for the adult entertainment industry. The people who make pornography, that's number one. The next one is along also with Bold Type Incorporated, a publisher of a book advocating the nudist lifestyle. Jim Gingrich, who paints nudes, and Ron Raffaelli, a photographer who specialized in erotic images. These are the people who went to accuse the government, who brought charges against the government, took the government to court for passing the Child Pornography Prevention Act of 1996 that said you should not do this, do that, because it can influence the activity in real life. Let me read you what the government did, that these demons went to challenge and they won. Let me read it for you. Before 1996, listen very carefully, Congress defined child pornography with reference to the Ferber Standard. In passing the Child Pornography Prevention Act of 1996, Congress added the two categories of speech challenged in this case to its definition of child pornography. The first prohibited any visual depiction, including any photograph, film, video, picture, or computer-generated image or picture that is or appears to be of a minor engaging in sexually explicit conduct. The court observed that this provision captures a range of depictions, sometimes called virtual child pornography, which include computer-generated images as well as images produced by more traditional means. The second prohibited any sexually explicit image that was advertised, promoted, presented, described, or distributed in such a manner that conveys the impression it depicts a minor engaging in sexually explicit image. Let me explain to you what all this big grammar is talking about. The Congress, the government, had a law in place. It's contained in the Child Pornography Prevention Act. So that law, they expanded it to include that nobody should use computer-generated image, animation, drawing, picture, or whatever that depicts a child or anything or anyone that looks like a child engaging in a sexually explicit conduct or being raped by someone or masturbating or doing anything sexual. He said, let that also be included in the Prevention Act so that we protect the children from being influenced into this satanic lifestyle. And when they did that, this so-called free speech coalition that represents, which is a part of the pornography producers in Hollywood, people who make adult films that you call blue films, they came together through the so-called coalition, free speech coalition, and they went and challenged the government. And they took the case to the Californian Ninth Circuit Court. The moment they got to the court, they said, our free speech is being infringed upon. And government was like, how is your free speech being infringed upon? I mean, are you guys now planning to go and start making this kind of content to damage children, to encourage people, to coerce people who are there? Because you know how powerful media content can be. A media content can make somebody who is not a murderer to turn into a murderer overnight. A media content can make somebody who is not profane to become profane overnight. You can even become a rapist by just watching something in the media. Everybody knows this. There's no gainsaying it. And this is what government put in place to protect the children. And these children of wickedness gather themselves together to challenge it at the Ninth Circuit Court of California. And when they did that, the government took it to Supreme Court. And guess what? The Supreme Court stood by the judgment of the Ninth Circuit Court, because the Ninth Circuit Court that they took it to had already reversed what the government did. That's why government took it to Supreme Court. Say, can you imagine what we put in place to protect children? The Ninth Circuit Court of California overturned it and reversed it in favor of perverts and satanic people in Hollywood who make all these profane things, who are intending to be making videos to show where children are being raped and even killed if possible. When they took it there for some help, the Supreme Court said, no, I stand by the Ninth Circuit Court of California. The Supreme Court of the United States of America gave the express permission and approval for all the pornography you see happening today in the US that started with synthetic pornography that does not involve real human beings, to the ones now that involve real children. How can a court come and rule and tell you because it does not involve real babies or real children, you should not stamp it out? That same one they were doing that they call synthetic, that does not involve children, is what has now metamorphosed into the one that involves children. Who can control it? Nobody. You think they didn't know? They knew it. That's why when you are voting, when you are praying for people to take the places of authority, you need to pray hard for God to place his own people there. There are satanic judges. Satan had already spoken with them and told them this is how you're going to vote when you get there. And that's how America gave the express approval for children to be messed up in their minds from the media to the real life situations that we have today. This is what happened. That's what Balenciaga had on the table. So this court judgment that I just explained is what Balenciaga took a part of it and had it on the table and placed one of their bags, their designer bags, on it, so that if you are thinking of going to come and point your finger at us, or you want to go and tell the court that we have done this, let's show you that we have the right to do what we are doing. We have the right to show children who are being massacred, children who are being molested, children who are engaging in sexually explicit conduct. We have the right to do what we are doing. We have the right to show children in a very sorry state. They put it there for you to see in a photographed ad. You gotta be kidding me, like kidding me. How did they get there? And Balenciaga is apologizing for this. You are apologizing for this. This is not something that happens by accident. A baby is carrying a BDSM gear, and then you have the court judgment that is there that gave you guys permission to make pornography in Hollywood with synthetic dolls about children. You put it there, and you tell me it's an accident. And in case you think that is the only thing that they put there, I want to play you another video to show you another sign that Balenciaga had in that same one picture. All these signs pointing to something. All of them meant to subliminally subdue you.